Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to be talking about specifically Andrew Yang and the possibility, the possible future of Andrew Yang being our first away team president. All right, let's talk about this. So, what is an away team president? All right, well, to explain to you what an away team president is, you know what? Let me talk about the future first. Okay, so. This away team president idea, this is a possible future that we can have with Andrew Yang. And that's one of the most awesome things about Andrew Yang, right? Is Andrew Yang he is an exoskeleton, right? He's super intelligent, super creative, super artistic. He's strong, right? And strong mentally and physically, right? So the thing is, with all that, you can shape and you can craft and you can think about all these possible futures for America with Andrew Yang as president, because he's adaptive. He's incredibly adaptive, right? So you can think, okay, if he makes this choice, the country goes this way. If he makes this choice, the country goes this way. If he makes this choice, the country goes this way. So this is a possible future that we can have with Andrew Yang, and that's the super fun part of being an Andrew Yang supporter, is we have all these possibilities, right? And one of the reasons why is Andrew Yang has the ability to win Democrats and the ability to win Republicans, right? He's not a mired, stained, archaic politician the way every other person on the debate night 3, on the third debate night was, right? He strides forward from the sun-dappled plains of entrepreneurialism. He is not like the presidents we've had before, not like any president we've had before. So what I'm going to be talking about today, this is one of the futures that we can have if Andrew Yang becomes our president, right? So let's talk about this. So what is an away team president, right? Well, now we need to talk about Star Trek. All right, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek. I've watched every season of Star Trek once. I've watched of all series, all seasons, the whole ball, right? The whole ball of wax, right? So I've watched all of TOS, all of TNG, all of Voyager, all of Deep Space Nine, all of Enterprise, all of them, right? I've watched every single movie, the whole nine, right? And this is I think it's well over 700 episodes, right? And so I'm a huge Star Trek fan, right? Now my favorite is TNG. I think TNG surpassed TOS, the Next Generation, surpassed the original series, and nothing made after the Next Generation has surpassed Next Generation, unfortunately, in my opinion. All right, Deep Space Nine came close. It was very, very good. All right, so okay. So what is an away team president, right? Well, an away team president, as I am putting it forward, is the Jean-Luc Picard president, right? So on the Enterprise, when the Enterprise would, be out and about doing its, exploring, right? Exploring bold new areas of space, basically Jean-Luc Picard, there would be situations that would arrive and they'd be like, oh, hey, there's this new species of animal found on this planet. The science team would get together and they'd be like, okay, science team is here, security team is here. And Jean-Luc Picard would be like, okay, I'm going down with you guys. I'm going down with the security team. I'm going down with the science team, right? And on any other Enterprise, on any other Starfleet ship, the second in command would be like, Captain, you can't go down there because we need you on the bridge, right? But Enterprise had a super dope crew. And Riker was like, yep, I got it. You go ahead, Captain Picard. I'll handle the bridge. And the unspoken part was Riker was like, if you die down there, I'll be the captain now. It's not a problem at all, right? So it was very usual for the starship captain to go on away team missions, right? There you go, right? So Jean-Luc Picard was an away team captain. He was captain of the Enterprise, but he would go down on away team missions all the time on these super risky missions, right? And the reason why was Jean-Luc Picard was a super dope explorer, and he was really cool, right? And There was just too much action in his heart to stay in one place, right? So he would go on these away team missions, right? And also he trusted, like if he died, he knew Riker had the ship, right? Riker was good, a very good second in command, and he was going to be a great captain whenever he was captain. Everything was covered, right? All right, let's talk about Andrew Yang as our first away team president. So what does a U.S. American away team president look like? What is the complete transformation of the role of U.S. president, right? So right now, what is an American president? He's some nerd, he's some schmuck who sits in the Oval Office. Lame, right? So here's what we do with Yang, right? So one, and the great thing is, okay, now why am I saying this today, right? So before I even tell you what an away team captain is, or away team president is, this all resides on the motion of Yang, right? So Yang is a U.S. primary Democrat presidential candidate who moves. He moves constantly. He's constantly in motion. Let me tick him off. In the last 6 months, we've seen him cha-cha with groups of voters, like literally do a cha-cha, right? A line dance. We've seen him crowd surf, right? He runs into rooms and he'll run in a circle and high five everybody, right? We've seen him sing and dance when he's waiting for press setups, right? He endures. He stays longer at these events than anybody else. And he plays basketball. Like, all of those things are physical motion that we've seen him do in the last 6 months. He's 44 years old. He's incredibly young. This is not, so unlike Biden and Sanders, Yang will never be an 86-year-old president, right? And that's exactly what you're signing up for when you sign up for Biden or Sanders. You are signing up for an 86-year-old president. Do the math. One of my subscribers gave a great analogy. If you decide to vote for Biden or Sanders, you are going on a long road trip that you know is going to be challenging with uphill mountainous routes, and you are buying a super high mileage car for that trip. That's exactly what a vote for Biden or Sanders is. Great analogy. One of my subscribers put that in the comments. Perfect example, right? Not with Yang. With Yang moves like crazy. He is actually in motion, right? So because he has the ability to move, and he's demonstrated the ability to move, to exercise, to do robust physical activities, we have the possibility now of a future, and let me paint this future for you, of an away team president. All right, so what does an American away team president do? Guess what? Every single week, right, except 1 week a month, he's going to spend 3 weeks a month outside of the White House in the United States of America. So every single week, when Monday starts, Monday through Friday, right? On a Monday, he hops in Marine One. That's the helicopter, right? They helicopter him out, right? The family follows in Air Force One, okay? They're going to bring his wife and his kids to wherever he's going, right? Except for there's one place that won't bring them, but we'll get into that in a minute. All right, but Andrew Yang, then at that point, 3 weeks out of every month, he does action presidency, right? He goes on away team missions, right? So he goes to a small farm, right, on week 1, and he spends the whole week, putting hay in bales with small farmers, and he talks with farmers, right, during the whole time, right? And during when he's put hay in bales for 2 hours, one of his guys will come up and say, "Hey, we got this situation. What's your opinion on XYZ?" Right? And he'll say, "Oh, I think we should do this." Right? And you'll literally catch him in the 15-minute breaks from his physical labor. Right? So in week 1, he's working with small farmers, and he's listening to them, and he's putting hay into bales with them, right? In week 2, oh no, climate change. We had a hurricane hit Florida. He goes down and he helps hand out bottled water, right? And he hands out blankets, right? And while he's doing this, right, he'll put in 4, 6, even 8 hours of work a day. But when 4 or 6 is fine, right? But in that last 2 hours out of the 8-hour or the 10-hour workday, right? Then his people can come. Then all his organizer people can come to him and say, "Hey, we got this situation in Poland. What should we do, Andrew Yang?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm kind of tired, from my day's work, but my mind's still working at 1,000,000 miles an hour because I'm 44 years old. I'm a healthy in body and mind, right?" And then he gives whatever, idea he needs to give because he's super brilliant, right? Because he's intelligent, creative, adaptive, right? So that's week 2, right? So he helps with disaster relief, right? And then, the week after that, he'll go to Detroit, right? Detroit has areas of it. I think this is still the case. This is the case for a long time. But he'll go to Detroit and he'll be like, this week we're going to help rebuild this entire block of shattered out, of shattered out buildings, right? We're going to just we're going to fix all these urban buildings, right? And so he'll go there, right? And he'll help fix all of these, urban areas, right? And so away team missioning is actually being a president while you actively labor, right? And there's infrastructure projects, right? When the union workers start building, brand new bridges, he will be there. He'll help weld the bolts on, right? He will be on scene and he will be laboring with America's throughout 3 weeks a month. He will be actively governing and leading, but he'll be doing physical labor for 4 to 6 hours a day, okay? That's an away team president. Now, I hear your question. You're like, Scott, why on earth would the president do this? We got lots of physical laborers. Why do we need the president to do physical labor? There's some really serious good reasons for our president to become an away team president, right? And by the way, I just gave like 3 or 4 different ideas there that he could help do. There, like you could set up 100 of these, right? His team will set up all kind. Oh, I'll give you a couple more. Bicycling. He can bicycle. If there's a group who bicycles to their job, 5-10 miles out, even just a couple who bicycles to work, he can join them and he can bicycle in, right, with people as they're bicycling into work, right? Showing the power of, green energy and, and conserving, not driving your car to work. All kinds of things like this, right? Oh, when there's an oil spill up in Alaska, right? He can get right on a plane, go right up to Alaska, spray some ducks with some, soap solution, There's a million of these, like, super active, super physical activities he can do. Why does Yang do this? Really good question. Let's talk about it, all right? So, 1, Americans are sedentary, right? We don't move a lot, right? And especially, really, the people who are getting the most exercise in America are, the richest people, and they're doing it all in gyms, which is stupid, right? It's just ridiculous. Can you imagine that we live in a country now where people, get onto Peloton bikes and spin, do all this labor, and there's literally nothing but just, pouring pounds off your body? There's literally, no benefit to all this. There's thousands of hours of physical labor happening in America right now that are not connected to work. They're literally just to get, fat off our butts. It's or the excess weight off our butts. Sorry, I shouldn't have said fat. Anyway, so it's just it's crazy, right? So many Americans are very sedentary. They don't move enough, right? And I'm part of the problem too. I do have my bicycling. I do that as much as I can. But one of the problems is I'm a weekend warrior there, right? I'm not doing, 5 or 7 or 10 miles, in an evening, which I could do, right? Kind of slim down a bit, right? But the thing is, we're too sedentary. We don't move enough, right? So if the president, I don't want a president to come in and say, you should exercise. Nobody wants to hear that. But if you see a president constantly physically laboring and moving all the time, right, that those actions speak louder than the words, right? Why else? Second term, man. If he does this, People will love it. Americans will absolutely go crazy for this, right? And why will Americans love this? Because of the ubiquitous camera. We have a ubiquitous camera now, right? This is one of the reasons why Trump is so powerful. Trump understands that the beast must be fed. The beast is the media, right? He feeds the beast with tweets, right? They're bloody meat for the media, and they just lap it up, right? Well, this is much, much better. Yang will be giving a new environment, showing a new area of America, showing new Americans. This will make American stars all over the country, right? And we as a people will finally get a use for the horrible media we currently have. We'll get to see more people, right? More Americans. We'll get to see areas that are bad. He can go and literally walk around Flint for 2 weeks, right? He can do a tour of every single facility in Flint, right? I guarantee that place will be shining, and the reason why is Jeff Bezos will be, like if Andrew Yang spends 2 weeks walking around, Flint, Michigan, right? Jeff Bezos will be there, like, I'm going to put in all new pipes at a new water factory, water plantation, right? Like, water plant, excuse me. There's a million reasons, right, to do this. Like, it's so powerful, right? Like, the other one is we need high-speed rails, right? What if Yang just literally walks the high-speed rail trail, does it twice, and says, this is where the rail should go, right? And all along, he can talk to all the people who are like, I don't want this in my backyard. Maybe he convinced them. Maybe if the president's sitting in your backyard and you need to say on national television, I'm the jerk that's holding up this project, maybe you're less likely to do that, right? The power of a moving president, right? Of an away team American president is incredibly powerful, right? It uses the power of the media for good, right? Here's another reason. Yang will control the media with this. He will have them following him around for that sweet, sweet new vantage point, for that sweet, sweet new shot, for that sweet, sweet new content, right? New locations, new people. It's a show. It's a show. It turns the presidency into a show. And if you are giving sweet, sweet, exciting content to the media, you control them, right? And that's the issue. Is right now we got a Republican president who absolutely controls like Svengali, like he's got a like Trump absolutely mesmerizes the media. They have no ability to not do anything he tells them to do. He absolutely owns them, right? He uses Twitter like a ring in the nose of a bull, and he just yanks them around and shoves their head whatever way he wants. It's terrible, right? But this would allow Yang to control the media in a much more awesome, healthy way, right? So the other thing is it highlights our nation, right? So these are all good reasons why the away team president is a powerful new transformation of the role of presidency, right? Now, this will be very expensive, and there might even be a little bit of danger to it, right? So one of the things is like the Secret Service is going to hate this, right? Like it's going to make it more difficult, right? But the reality is that's their problem. They can handle it. They got lots of money, and we have fantastic tech, right? But the other thing is the advantages are so high. Now we talked about Yang being the Jean-Luc Picard president. Who's the Riker? Well, you need that Riker, right? You can only do this if you got your Riker. Tulsi Gabbard is the Riker, okay? All right, I have a nuanced opinion on Tulsi Gabbard. I think Tulsi Gabbard is 100% unelectable because of non-interventionism. Non-interventionism is the best way in the world to get 15% of all Democrats and 5% of all Republicans. Do the math. You cannot get elected with 20% of America, right? Non-interventionism makes it so Tulsi Gabbard is thoroughly, completely unelectable. And it's the main reason she couldn't make debate number 3, right? And is still struggling to make debate number 4, right? However, here's the thing. Tulsi Gabbard is incredibly intelligent. She is incredibly driven, right? And she has this incredible calm that comes with her communication style. She's very even and she's very calm. I actually think that Tulsi Gabbard is the most skilled politician in America today, with the absolute worst, well, actually with one of the absolute worst platforms. And the problem is she's actually genuinely dedicated to it, right? It's not something that just sloughs off her. She legit cares about this thing, right? But it's got to get stripped, like, it's got to get unbolted from her, right? Because she's too powerful and too useful and too skilled a politician for the Democrats to waste her, right, on non-interventionism. And so she actually is the ultimate vice president. She is the ultimate vice president. And we can have our away team president with Andrew Yang if we can get our Riker. And Tulsi Gabbard is the perfect Riker. All that is my opinion. What do you think? Do you think that having an away team president would be the coolest? I think so, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. And have a wonderful millennium.